Alright, welcome back. In this video we're going to be looking at leading back saccatas to our left leg. So that means we're going to be moving to the right generally. Okay, so a good position to start this in always is back ochos. So here we are in back ochos doing the same thing, 45 degree and then 180 degree back ocho. At this point, I'm going to show you how far she can pivot if I don't move my left leg, or my left arm much. Notice that her heels are really just barely pointing behind my heel. She might actually even kick my heel. So here, we have to pull the left hand back just a little bit. So during that pivot, you want to bring the left hand a little bit back so it gives her enough to make that pivot, or so that she has the space to create. There are, few people who have the flexibility in their torsos to make this without the extra torque in the leader's chest. So leaders, what you're doing here is you're turning your chest, but then also you're pulling back your left arm a little bit independent of your chest. I know that this is not something that I normally preach, but when you're doing more nuevo type movements, sometimes you have to make these concessions to make the movement actually happen. This is one of those concessions generally. What I don't want to do is ask the follower to make such a big pivot and crunch her arm into her body. So I would rather open up my left arm and giving her space in her, in her rib cage and her arm so that she doesn't feel crunched up and be able to successfully make the back saccata without kicking me. It's a minor concession to not be kicked. So here we are in that same position. We're going to go back ochos. And here, 180 degree back ocho, and then I'll lead her around and pull back a little bit to add a little more pivot, and then finish that back saccata. Previously, we did a back saccata on both the side step and the forward step. The same thing is possible going in the other direction. It does become harder. So in back ochos, again, we're going to make that 180 degree back ocho. And then here, I'm going to take this forward step, and notice that this pivot's going to have to be quite big. I might actually have to change this left arm depending, even greater than what I can, because my left arm is I'm already pretty, from this position, I can't go back much farther. So we're going to show you without much change how far she can get. This is as far as she can get. She's touching my foot. This is not exactly the position that we want. So we have to make a greater concession for this particular back saccata, which is the left hand has to change quite a bit. So I will then bring my left hand behind my body to make that work. Yeah? So that's what we're looking for. So if she keeps her feet together and doesn't extend the leg, yeah, this is not going to be quite good enough, generally speaking. I need to bring this hand down as she keeps her feet together, and then I'll invite her to take that step to come through. It's a very strange saccata, not something I ever do, but it's possible, and it's possible without too much concession to what I believe to be our standard frame. So although that is a saccata that I'm not really a major fan of, I will show it to you because I want you to know everything that I know. That's my goal, is to show you all that I can so that you can decipher what it is that you would like to dance. This particular back saccata, I'm not a fan of putting my arm on my back and changing my frame this way, but this is an advanced level course, and you're an advanced dancer, so you have the freedom to make that decision on your own. So these 4 back saccatas are the main back saccatas that I think are most accessible. You can do them also on your back step leaders. This is also accessible and not so difficult either. So in that same position, if I'm here, I can, instead of going forward, I can take a back step, and here I just pivot her in this way and bring her through. The hard part about this is what to do with your front leg. So leaders, when you receive a saccata on the back step, what you don't want to do is kind of pick it up and over her foot. You need to allow it to move just like the follower's leg would move in a back step, which is to a forward cross. Some sort of forward cross or forward boleo. So when she makes that back saccata, maybe you make a boleo, or maybe you make a forward cross with a little enrosque as she continues the movement. So doing them on the back step is very much possible, but what to do with your leg is the hard part. Same thing on the other side. So we have a large 180 degree ocho here, and then I'm going to pivot her a lot, and at this moment she hasn't pivoted enough, But as I step, she'll continue to pivot. And then I'm going to invite her to take that step through my right shoulder. Here's my saccata, or my boleo, excuse me, and then we're done. All right? So those are 2 more possible saccatas. So you have now 6 possible saccatas that you can do from the follower to you. And that's all been with the other 6 saccatas are using her other leg for the exact same motion. So those are a bit more difficult depending on which direction you're going. So work on these 6 and play with those 6. And if you want to explore on your own, finding the other 6, that would be a good exercise for you to work on at home and try to figure it out. So if you're interested in knowing those other 6, if you can't figure them out, you can message me privately and we can work on that together. And thank you very much for taking this lesson, and we'll see you in the next lesson.